Cool. Excellent. And then I sent out an agenda. Did everybody get that earlier?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Do we have access to it? You guys want me to share my screen? I can do that as well.
I do not have access to it right now.
Okay.
I am on a phone in the car.
Yeah, I'm still driving home from Waltham, but I will hopefully shortly once I land.
Okay, no worries. I can always send it out afterwards, but what I can do right now is I can just share my screen. Or actually I can just go through it. It's no big deal. All right, cool. Let me just do that. I can share my screen. We're not, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. And then I'm going to just really quick call the meeting to order. So 6:35, call for quorum real quick. So members that are here, myself, Kevin Staley, present, Jen Altamonte.
Present.
And then Gavin Fisk.
Present.
All right, great. Cool. Thank you. Welcome to the meeting. Thank you for joining, Jen. This is Jen's first meeting on the board. So appreciate that. Really, really appreciate the your interest in the board. Very happy to have you on here. Unfortunately, we have had some turnover on the board in the last year. So very glad to still have folks interested in joining. And then we do have a guest here. So we've got Danielle. I think Danielle is interested in joining, so I invited her on as a guest to the meeting. So she can,
Danielle.
Yep, she can participate. If she likes, she's just not able to vote. So, but thank you very much, Danielle, for joining as well. Okay, so I've got a brief to-do list on what we've got to do in the next couple of months. Essentially, what we've got coming up is we've got to submit our local priorities. The grant round opens on September 2nd, closes on October 16th. So that round should be open for about a month and a half. And folks can kind of go in on the Mass Cultural Council portal and apply for their local grants there. We have our financial report due on October 9th. And we've got a couple of other housekeeping items to go through. And then I want to go over real quick, just to update, we need to update our members list. We've got the FY26 allocation has been awarded. So Mass Cultural Council has kindly funded us again this year. And so I can go over kind of what we've got there. There's a couple of projects that I wanted to just go over from this previous grant round. And then in terms of this year's budget, I have our activity outstanding right now, so I've got a request out to the finance department. So I don't have a completed financial statement for us right now, but I can always follow up with the members and discuss that. Before we kind of go into details for any of those items, does anybody have any general questions about the board, our priorities, this previous year's grant round, anything new business before I go into that?
So can I ask, was all the money that was allocated last year appropriated and spent?
It was all appropriated. It has not been spent, not in its entirety. And so basically the way that it works is that for everything that is awarded in the previous fiscal year grant round, becomes encumbered, right? So that money is spoken for, and then grantees have until I believe it's January of the next fiscal year to complete their project and then submit for reimbursement.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's a big window then. Okay.
Yeah. So like, for example, right, if we awarded something last October, they still have until January of next year to complete that and submit for reimbursement.
And so, and are there certain? Well, I'm sure we'll get into this, and I don't want to jump the gun a little bit, but are all the how do I put this? Are all the grants that have been awarded, have they been initiated, or are we still waiting for them to take place? Or
Yeah, so I think based on my just based on my understanding of this, and let me just kind of go back into.
And I don't want to railroad your agenda. Those were some questions that had popped into my head a little bit, and we can
No,
wait.
it's totally fine. So I apologize. I'm a little bit like underprepared for this meeting. I can always give it some follow-up items here, but I believe 6, 7, 8. So we had I think I've provided about 10 payments out. I just want to go back over my notes and see like how many grants we funded last year. I have it in a spreadsheet somewhere. Let's see, grant management. So we have we have 18 projects that we funded last year. And I believe we have paid out 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we've paid out about like 7 of them. Right, I'm going to have to do an exact accounting, and I apologize for being underprepared. But I think we've done about 7 of those projects so far. I've submitted for reimbursement and are complete.
18 projects that have been granted sounds like amazing in my mind.
Yeah, and I a lot of those projects, like there were a couple of them that received like a fair bit of fund. Like most of them were full. I think almost all of them were fully funded.
Oh wow.
Some of them were actually given above what they asked for, right? So, and I think we received more than that in the grant round, but because of our grant priorities, which I do want to go into, I think a couple of those were inappropriate for us to fund, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Or somewhat duplicative. So we wound up not funding those in the prior round, and so we wound up having a little bit of extra money to provide to other applicants.
Oh wow, I think that's, to me, I find that very successful.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree.
if something's more in the line of Franklin than Bellingham,
Oh, okay.
you'd not want to give Bellingham's money towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good point, Gavin, right? Like I think in previous rounds, like the gist of our priorities are like we want to fund something inside the arts, the humanities, the sciences, and we want to provide priority to local artists in local communities, right? So I would say like local communities kind of comes first in precedence. So it's like if it's being done for the benefit of our citizens or citizens in like a very nearby town, or if it's a local artist doing something in a local area, that would take precedence over something that's like more statewide funded.
Wow. This is exciting. Exciting place to start. I think that's from where I sit. And having limited exposure to the council already, that sounds very successful. I'm very excited to see where we go with this.
And I think the project that we allocated some extra funds to, I think, tell me if I was right about this. It was the project in the Bellingham Common, right?
Well, okay, so that's actually one of my agenda items that I wanted to go over. So
I apologize.
No, it's okay. No worries. I'm not. Yeah, I just want to. I'm going to go one thing at a time and make sure we knock them out. So
Okay.
let's start with the priorities, right? So I think first thing that needs to get done by next week is we need to submit our local cultural council guidelines to our portal, right? So the Mass Cultural Council portal, which I'm not sure, Jen, if you have an account with that yet, I may have to add you onto the Cultural Council profile, and then you'll get invited. But essentially, what is happening is there's like I think it's Smart Simple is the state's software for the Mass Cultural Council, and we have a local cultural council profile on that, and that's where we kind of do all of our grant management from. And so in there, we're allowed to submit our local priorities that kind of give us the authority to say, like, these are the local cultural council guidelines that we will prioritize on top of the Mass Cultural Council guidelines. So if we don't submit those, kind of the baseline for what applicants use to kind of understand their competitiveness in the grant round, is going to be based on the Mass Cultural Council guidelines as opposed to our local council guidelines. The local council guidelines should, at the very least, match up with Mass Cultural Council guidelines, but we are allowed to add on upon that, like if we have certain things that we want to prioritize on top of what is provided by the Mass Cultural Council. In the agenda that I provided, I did give our most recent one. So we did miss the guideline last year, but in 2024, so FY 2024, we did have payment guidelines and Mass Cultural Council like grant priority guidelines. And so what we can do is we can just kind of like take a look at these, see if there's any additional language that we wanted to add in, and then we can either kind of submit that with no changes, or we can do some redlining and just make sure that like we're okay with what we'd like to submit as our priorities locally.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see if there's anything like that really kind of stands out to me. I think the main thing that we mention in here is that like for Mass Cultural Council, we are a reimbursement. So I think some cultural councils are allowed to submit like prepayment, right? Like they're basically allowed to award the money goes out. Other councils are like, essentially it depends on how you want to handle this, but our local cultural council has opted to reimburse as opposed to like pre-fund any projects, just because there are occasions, right, where something will just not go off, or perhaps the ability for the grantee to kind of confirm the venue that they're going to go to is not this just doesn't work out, right? And so we want to make sure that we don't pre-fund something that won't actually happen and won't benefit the community. Cool. So I think what I can do is, if it's all right with you guys, I may just review this over this week, and if I have any suggestions I want to provide, or if you all want to review them as well, what we can do is, if we have any new suggestions, what we can do is go through, provide some suggestions or red lines, and then we can probably set up a quick vote. So we can set up a quick meeting and then vote on any changes that we want to go through, and then I can submit those. But that would have to happen by next Thursday. So quick turnaround. I apologize for that. There may not be any changes, right? So but I just wanted to let everybody know that that's our first kind of deadline.
I mean, working for you now, right? And Gavin, if they're working for the two of you and you're comfortable with them, right?
Yeah.
Would you need to amend them at all?
The only thing that I think, and Gavin, do you recall this? I think what we had discussed last year is that we would love to have in there a clause that, like, if we have our own local cultural council project that we wanted to fund and then organize, we would love to put in a stipulation there that like we would love market like assistance, kind of spreading awareness, or like if we wanted to kind of showcase something that we had also granted, we would put in a stipulation there that like everything is dependent on the artist being okay with kind of like participating in some form with a Bellingham Cultural Council event if we needed it, right?
Yes. Because we were talking about doing stuff for kids, right?
Well, just in general, if we had a local cultural council project that was funded and organized, self-funded and organized, which we have, we're allowed to spend, I believe, 10% of our budget on. If we were to allocate funding for that and then organize it, I think we had discussed previously putting in a stipulation that like if you receive funding from us, if we wanted you to kind of like provide assistance spreading awareness or kind of marketing this event or showcasing your work at this event, barring any logistical problems that you might have, or like, you know, any exigent circumstances, we would like you to participate, basically. And that was the language that I had proposed last year. I just don't think
I know what you're talking about.
In time.
I know what you're talking about. Yes. Okay, yeah.
And I think this is just because I think we had a project that we had planned on, but I don't know that we, unfortunately, I think that is kind of started to fall through, depending on one of the other projects that we'll discuss later. So I don't want to commit to anything there, but yeah, I think that was something that we had hoped to add to the language. So what I can do is kind of add that proposal in there, and if we'd like to vote on that, we can.
Okay.
Okay. Any additional questions there?
Nope, good.
Okay, cool. Second is, okay, so the grant round proper. We should discuss that. So grant round opens on the 2nd of September. Oh, yes. Danielle, I think if you wanted to, like, as a member of the public, prior to being able to vote on anything, right? Assuming, you get an interview with the town, right? Yeah, I think that's fine. We would accept feedback from the public on those guidelines. I think that's appropriate. Cool. And so the grant round, so it opens on September 2nd, and applicants have until October 16th to submit their applications, after which we would need to have some meetings whereupon we would review the applications, compare them to our guidelines, discuss the validity and the merit of those grants, and then we would proceed to agree, align on what we can fund, who we should fund, in what amounts, whether or not that fits our budget, and then we would vote on those. And then after that, we have, I believe it's November, to send out our grant approvals, right? So we would send out a letter, we would make the updates in the portal, and then we would send out letters saying to the grantees that they've been awarded the money that they applied for, and if there's any additional conditions that we want to put on the award, we would just have to surface those then. The two action items that I would love to discuss are, we probably want to announce this in some way to the local community. I know that the Mass Cultural Council typically sends out emails to everybody who's involved in the portal. So if you're a prior applicant, you will get reminders from Mass Cultural Council. So, I think prior applicants definitely are aware that the grant round is opening. But if you're a new applicant, right, you may not know that this is an opportunity at this time. And so I would love to try and get something posted, ideally in multiple places, that the grant round is open and that we're accepting applications and that these are our guidelines. So I would be open to suggestion on what we think the best places for that are. I think probably the town website, if we'd like to put an announcement there, possibly something in the bulletin, possibly something on some of the town Facebook groups, but I'm open to suggestion there. Gavin, you might be on mute.
Do the new coffee shop, if that's doable.
So we would probably need some sort of, would we just kind of do like a release of some sort and then post that somewhere?
Yeah, you just walk in and they'll probably have a bulletin board where people put like business cards and stuff.
Sure. Do we, I don't know that we have like existing copy or like any kind of newsletter or anything like that. So we would have to put that together.
Okay. I could create a newsletter somehow. I can look for some. Because then there's also that new breakfast place that just opened up that's wicked good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the B-Town Diner. I have heard good things.
Go there, Kevin. Go there.
Yeah. What I would suggest is, I'm seeing other suggestions as well: bulletin, website, library, senior center, physical locations, Facebook. So probably what we would want to do is we would want to have some sort of bullet, like newsletter or bulletin. We could probably showcase a few of the grantees that we funded in the last round. And we would just announce that here's the location. Like if you wanted to go apply, here's the portal. And then we could also just put out a generic press release on like, here's the grant road is open. If you'd like to apply on Smart Simple, I would just do, and then follow the guidelines that we would set out there to make sure that they can go in and apply.
I might even
So-
suggest radios. There's a couple radio stations local that does a really great job with Milford's cultural committee. So my FM does a lot with the Milford Cultural Society, as well as Radio, who's an online platform. They partnered on a lot of things together. Those two platforms with their commission, and
Do they charge?
They do not. So a lot
Okay.
of local hometown, updates kind of thing. They're big on the hometown engagement.
Yeah. So what would the format of that be? Would that be like just them announcing the grant round, or would that be an interview?
Kind of thing. They did a lot for us. Both of those did a lot for us when we celebrated the 300th anniversary. So there was a big connection that we made then. And they continue to do that locally with a lot of things that happen in the surrounding areas and towns. And I might even suggest that we even have our own social media presence as a way to keep people engaged, coming back, celebrating what we've done. Kind of keep to date what we're doing, what's coming forward, kind of keeping them coming back and engaged, if we don't already have one.
I don't believe we have one, so we could create one. Yeah.
Again, we made one for the anniversary that we did back in 2019. Not that we have a big following, but we have about 1,100 followers that are local, or we have local. That kind of just plus the own social media platform for the town itself. It's a way that we're now looking for instantaneous communication in a single moment. Like a one and done, and it just blasts out. So they've been successful to keep our town engaged. I might recommend those as well as the paper, because not everybody has social media or is comfortable with social media. So the paper partner as well is also helpful.
I would agree.
So I'm getting away from social media.
And it's not but that's what we find a lot of people are going.
I know everyone's going to it.
So and that's where that's where I find a lot of the temperament, what's happening on a lot of hot topics or sensitive subjects or whatnot. I always tend to check on those platforms and see what people are talking about. So I try to combat what we are actually doing, the good and the transparent.
Yeah. Well, and I think fortunately for the Cultural Council, there should not be anything controversial about what we're
No, not at all.
But it is. I do find it a great platform to keep people engaged and coming back. We generated one for it's BU Bellingham. We did that for the Pride Fest we did back in June. It's just a way to keep people engaged. And they do come back frequently to see what's happening, celebrate what's happened in the past, what's coming up. It's a nice way to keep people engaged.
Okay. Yeah. No, I really like that idea. So I think we have about 2.5 weeks till the grant round opens. I would suggest probably, like, in terms of the short-term things that we could accomplish, we probably could build like a quick newsletter. We could reach out to one of the grantees that we think is really good. And we could ask them, like, hey, do you mind if we feature you? And then we can also just put together like a quick press release. And I think we could probably put that on like the existing pages, right? And then we could do that in like the next week. And then if we wanted to continue to do any further efforts, we could probably start building our own presence. And we could continue to post like whatever we build out from there. So here's another thing is you're encouraged as a local cultural council to have a grant workshop. What I have done in years past is just done, like, we've announced like an online workshop. It's pretty much just a webinar on how to kind of go through the portal and apply. We could try to host a local one. Probably, I think the library's got a really good room, so we would have to ask the library if they're willing to let us use it. But we do have a kind of a short turnaround on that, and so I think it's okay if we probably host it while the grant round is open. But it'd probably be preferable if we do it like at the beginning, right? So that we give people time to make those applications. So
So the only thing I want to mention is that we've missed the cutoff for the local Bellingham Bulletin September edition.
I see. Okay.
So that cutoff for the coming edition is going to be the 15th of the month, that week.
And when would it go out?
So that would hit the first of the following month. So if you want to get something in to hit the middle of the grant window, we would want to get it in before September 15th or the week wherever the 15th lands.
That would be Monday, the third week, third Monday. And you're saying it comes out the next day, or it comes out on like the next of the month?
It would come out the first of the following month. So if we were to get it in before the 15th of September, it would hit the October 1st.
I mean, I at that point we would have missed the entire window.
So at that point where it's closing on the 16th, your grant round opens on the 2nd and closes on the 16th, you'd be smack dab in the middle of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm looking at the wrong month. No, you're right.
That's something to consider because it just wouldn't happen as quickly. It wouldn't be a next day action item, I guess, for us now, but it would hit smack dab in the middle of the window. So we want to maybe consider that date or keep that date in mind.
Okay, so what I'm hearing in terms of action items, it sounds like press release goes out probably next week on local Facebook pages. I would put them, but we could probably see if the town is willing to put an announcement as well. Town page. And then follow up, we could do a newsletter of some sort. Newsletter combination with the press release, maybe add like a featured grant, and we could put that into the bulletin and then repost the newsletter with the grant press release, so that it kind of all comes out as a reminder, like, hey, you still have time to apply, right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I can actually create. I can actually, while I'm away this week, I can actually generate our own committee Facebook page if that's something everyone's comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I would be overjoyed if we had.
Maybe not everyone's cup of tea, and contribute as you're comfortable, but something that we can use as another platform of reminding those who might be engaged and looking for information.
Okay.
I'm cool with it.
Yep. Cool. Do we have volunteers for the press release and the newsletter?
I will do the. I don't care. Pick one.
And I can do the press release.
I'll
Okay.
do newsletter.
Okay, cool. And if you want to coordinate with Danielle, I think Danielle is eager to help as well. Is that right? Am I voluntolding you?
Wouldn't be the first time I've been voluntold for something, so don't worry. Happy to help in the ways that I can that feel appropriate for my limbo status for now. So
that limbo.
So would I have to reach out to the Bellingham newspaper by the 15th of September?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you go to their website or their it will link you to submission.
Great. Okay, and I'm happy to run a virtual grant workshop in the middle of that if we want to kind of like just announce that as like a web. I still think like in terms of like accessibility, that's probably the best bet. So what we can do is we can just kind of announce that on our pages. We do have a grant workshop. Do we want to announce that after the bulletin and after the other stuff, or is that a little late, we think? Do we want to announce it before? Maybe we could do it in the press release.
I think the second is going to come fast and furious. I mean, anyone with school age kids are counting the days. So
yeah, I know I'm screwed.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to give myself a deadline to have that social media presence done by the end of the week.
Okay. All right.
So
let me hold on. Let me just look at the calendar.
Well, let me suggest this. What if
the day after? It's the day after Labor Day.
Right. So if we got the social media platform up and running and we use that platform to, I mean, I know Danielle's going to be approved by the 8th. I know that's our next select board meeting, and right. I don't see a problem with that. taking a positive turn. So I would say, Danielle, you're all set. Let's go. And so we use that first announcement on the social media pages across all of them, the introduction to all the members, and that the grant window is open, and then all the things after following that announcement of just introducing the committee or the commission itself can be a reinforcement of what's happening, like what we do, the mission, that kind of thing, and then we just step it from there.
So re-announce everything on the 8th again when that happens, you're saying?
Pretty much. I mean, at that point, then, we can use that platform to say, watch the Bellingham Bulletin for more information, watch this page for,
Use it as a launch for the platform.
pretty much,
Yeah.
and then what's going to happen. Because it's all going to kind of happen together, it sounds like.
Yeah. I think we'll probably put, and that's not bad. I think like a kind of a slow but steady drip of information will probably be helpful in like generating a little bit of buzz. That's typically how like you get engagement on other platforms as well. So I don't mind that not coming all, like I don't mind it all not coming all out as one salvo. Like that seems fine to me. It really what I'm asking is like, if we were to do like a webinar, should we wait a while until all of these things have come out and then do one in the middle of the round? Like maybe
you should do your webinar like the beginning of October. People who already know, who are going to be ready to go at the beginning of September, are going to jump on it. And then if people have questions, you can be like, oh, that's great. We still have a workshop coming up. If people have more questions or need more help, it's going to be, the first couple of days in October, because that still gives someone 2 weeks. And these aren't like $100,000 grants. These are, a couple grand. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think the buzz will get the ideas churning for those who are already looking for these kinds of awards, right?
Right.
Yes.
And if it's after the bulletin comes out, it gives you that like deadline and that actionable piece from what's posted in the bulletin or from what's posted other places, like the engagement piece, and not just information and then they forget about it.
Right. I think that's a great suggestion. So yeah, what we can do is I would say I agree. Let's do like maybe the 1st of October. Like it's a Wednesday. I can do it in the evening.
If the bulletin's out on the 1st, do you want to give it a couple days, like the Friday, the Sunday, the Monday after?
And that can be in the press release, right? Whatever date you choose.
Yeah, exactly. So we'd have to lock that down by the 15th, but
and this webinar someone could follow at a later date, right?
Yeah, I would recommend posting it to like the YouTube page for the town. We've done that before. So it's really just kind of like, here's how you walk through the process. Here's our guidelines and our priorities. I mean, it really, like, in terms of like what gets funded, it's pretty obvious, like local artists, local benefit, here are the types of projects that we typically fund. Like I would probably go over all of that.
I think that sounds good. And that being the case, if it was announced on that first week of October, just do the following week.
Yeah, I could probably do it like the following Tuesday evening based on my schedule. I could probably do it at one of the evenings of that week. We'll just pick a day, honestly, and I'll do it in the evening so that way people who are working during the day can come on it in the evening. If you want to watch it later, we'll say that we'll post it on the YouTube channel. So how about I just tentatively set it for October 7th?
Okay.
That gives them one more week, a week and a couple of days if they really haven't tried to figure it out yet. That will give them the extra push.
I think that sounds like a good pace.
I agree. So we've got coverage for things like almost every other week. Okay, set it for 10/7 after bulletin. Great. All right, excellent. Okay, if there's no other That sounds good. And so we'll catch back up when the grant round ends, and I can kind of walk us through how to go through things there. So I think we're okay there. Financial reporting. So typically in these meetings, we would go over what we've funded so far and what our budget for next year is. I again apologize. I think I'm just a little unprepared today. So what I can do is either we can meet and kind of agree on the budget again, and I can kind of get proper, like the proper budget set up, and I can give you guys an accounting of everything as it stands. Especially because I'm waiting on our account activity for the year. So if you guys don't mind waiting on that, we can do another quick meeting, or I can send you follow-up materials. It's whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine with me as far as like looking through the details. Broadly, I was curious if so on the state website it says our allocation is like 10,900. Is that for fiscal 25, or is that for fiscal 26 for the fiscal 26 budget?
Sorry, which number? What was the number you said?
10,009.
That is for this year's FY26 allocation.
I'm sorry, say the last part again.
That is for FY26 allocation. So this grant year.
Okay.
Okay.
I figured since they had announced the like big budget that was their expected like distribution allocation of that 26 million to the different towns. So thank you.
Mm-hmm, of course. Yeah. So yeah, that was my next bullet point, is like basically for that we would have that. So what we need to do is just figure out who has submitted for us so far. We recently, so I recently went in and pulled in all the physical copies that came in. So those should be being paid out soon. We had some other activity over online previously, so I can get everybody like the grants that have submitted and have been paid out to date. And then what we can do also is like just send out an email reminder to the remaining grantees. Hey, you've got until beginning of next year to go ahead and do your activity and submit for reimbursement. And then that just kind of covers us for letting them know that they still have this grant. If they were planning on doing this, they should probably go ahead and do it in the fall. So. And then what we can do from there is once we figure out how much is encumbered from our current budget, we can see how much is available for granting in this year on top of what we've gotten for our allocation. So we may have, depending on who submits or who did not submit for reimbursement from the previous grant round, that money may go back in and be reavailable for regranting. So what I would suggest, and we can hold a vote on this if you'd like, we can hold a follow-up supplemental meeting on the financials. Is that all right?
I'm fine with the Cove.
Jen, is that all right with you?
Yep, I'm good with that.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay, there's 3 more items. In terms of membership expansion, I'm wondering if we should just wait and get through like the grant round before we start doing additional like. It sounds like we already have a plan to establish our own social media presence this year. So I think we could probably follow that up once we've.
Yeah, let's see how that goes first.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't want to overextend ourselves. So
now that we have 4 members, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that puts us in a better place. And I will have to update our membership on the portal. But I think that's good. I think that covers us for quorum, right? So we're able to hit quorum. So I think we're okay there. So if we're all right with kind of deferring membership expansion, let's just go ahead and defer that to one of our future meetings. We'll table it for now.
So Danielle, we had 3, but Daryl passed. When did Daryl pass?
Earlier this spring.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Daryl had a lot of health issues.
Yeah.
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 So
But yeah, he was. I mean, he had been on the council for a very long time, and he had a lot of experience, and so I think it was very unfortunate that he had passed. Right, he kind of knew the program inside and out. I think he had made a lot of suggestions that like kind of integrated the way that it was the portal and Mass Cultural Council operated into the way that like we're able to submit for reimbursement. So he did a very good job of that. And we'll miss him, but I am
He's a good
glad
guy.
that folks are invested in the cultural council. So I think
He's a
it's
funny guy.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's too bad. It's hard when somebody who really who really knows something in and out is no longer there as a resource. But I know I don't count as a vote, but happy if you defer membership expansion since that's my day job, and I'm happy to bring my expertise to thinking about that. So
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I think you have a very good skill set for that. So well, I'm excited to talk about it later in the year once we're kind of past the grant round. So whose dog is that?
That's my dog. Sorry. I'm in
there
the
he is.
car. She sees a dog walking by. Yeah,
Classic.
Kevin, I got a dog, by the way.
Oh, very
mine's
nice.
probably wandering around wheezing as well. So.
Yeah, I just got I put my daughter down just in time for this meeting. It was like down to sleep, falls asleep, perfect, right on the meeting. So
I can either be inside with the dog, the 4-year-old, and my wife going chaotic, or take the dog in the car
yeah,
and have her
pick
go
your
chaotic
poison.
in the car.
Pick your poison, right? Oh,
Yep.
cute.
The
That's a
dog
nice
has
little
to be
dog.
with me at some point, though.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. So I think I want to make sure that we're close to closing out at about an hour. So BCC. Okay, so we had
Sit down.
there's two more items. So I think there's and they're kind of interconnected. So one of our grants was a sculpture. It's like a "You Are Here" sculpture. I think it was intended to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States. I have been in contact with the awardee. It sounds like
Yeah.
they are able to deliver, but I think there was a bit of a question on like the design and the size. So they gave us options for what
All right.
size the sculpture was going to be. So I think they needed clarification on that. I think we provided enough funding to cover a couple of the options. So I think there's that. And then this is kind of I have a question for Jen, but essentially like in terms of being able to display this, I think we would probably need approval from the town in some format and a location. I think the idea was to ideally place it in like town hall or maybe the common somewhere.
Yeah, I thought
But
they were
I
going to put
feel
this
like
in the common and like dig it down.
well, okay, so that here's the problem is we have not talked to anybody that runs those spaces, right? And I would need to talk to them before we're able to get that delivered and before we're able to reimburse. So there are a couple of items on our plate that we need to do due diligence on to be able to execute on this project, right?
And then if it helps, I'm going to be applying for the planning board as well. So if we need to go through them, that might help.
Are you
Huh?
really? You really going to apply for the planning board junior member?
Yeah.
Don't tease me.
No, why?
Oh, that would be perfect.
Why? Are you on it?
I'm not on it, but I it's right now, pardon my French, a shit show. With
Why do they need someone on there? Like
an outside name come to this board.
all right, because I worked for town or municipality for 10 years and then left. And now I'm doing this.
And you want to be on the planet. I'm so sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry. We can talk after. I'll text you.
Okay.
Well, I think it's relevant, right? Like I would love to, I don't know. So I guess, yeah, you guys could probably follow up afterwards on it. Congratulations. It's a good, I think it's a good board. It does sound like they need some folks to apply. So
outside vision and eyes and ears and dedication. I don't think it's going to be a planning board decision. I do think it's going to be either a town common trustee position, which they've already met this month, so you'd have to talk to Dave Wyatt in town office, or if you wanted to consider putting it in 300th Park, which it's outside the municipal center, which might be an option because that is right in front of our town offices.
I was just told to contact this one woman in the town clerk's office, Haley something.
Amy?
Haley?
Oh,
Haley.
yeah.
Haley.
It might be Amy. I don't remember. It was someone on Facebook told me to contact them.
So Amy's our town clerk. So
yeah, so Amy told me to contact the town clerk.
So yeah, so Amy Bartoloni is the current town clerk, and she would help us. I would think something like that might be ideal in that little park because it is in front of our municipal offices and right next to the historical building.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. Probably less of a lift to convince them to put it there.
And the town common trustees are amazing too. I don't think you'd have problems there, but they have so much down there now that we could probably use a little love in this little park that's in front of the municipal buildings. So
I would agree.
Especially with the
That's
anniversary.
what we when we were allocating our funds, we were like, all right, we have extra funds. I think this would be good for Bellingham.
Yeah. I agree. No, I liked the project. I thought it was a very interesting project. I liked the connection to the 250th anniversary. And so, okay, so it sounds like what we can do is I would say let's start by reaching out to Amy. I do have Amy's contact information, so I can do that. I'll volunteer to do that. And we can see what steps we would need to take to do that. And then what I can do is I can call the grantee and confirm some details with them. And what they can do is they can probably go ahead and start construction. And that way we give them some lead time to finish, deliver to us. That way, like they have proof that they've done it inside the grant round. And like, even if there's a little bit of like funkiness in terms of like when this goes through, at the very least, we didn't put them in an awkward spot where they can't like have proof that they did this inside of the grant round and are entitled to money. I just want to make sure things go smoothly for them and that they're able to deliver, and that we're not like kind of putting a blocker in their way, right? So
can you send me the designs?
I don't have designs yet, but I can, if they have them, I will. I think they may have been a part of the previous. You may be able to go into the portal and check those. I think it's like a pin dot, like a pin drop. For like if you were on like Google Maps or Apple Maps or something, it's like drop a pin on that. I think that was the general gist of the design, but
it's such a cool idea, especially with the 250th anniversary coming up. There's so much buzz around that. That would be
I know.
Yeah, and I think so like the idea is that it would be one of many different of the like sculptures that would be displayed across municipalities in Massachusetts. So we would be one of the communities participating. Okay, and so the secondary bullet point is we had also provided funding in our local project budget. So this is funding, I believe it's 10% of our local, our yearly allocation is allowed to go towards something that we encumber for our own purposes that we can plan, that is a Bellingham Community Council project. And what we had basically provided to MCC was that this was to be a supplemental project to this other project. So if we needed to provide any kind of like ADA access to this, or like a display area or something that kind of supplements this, that would be the project that we were funding there. I don't know if we need to like, if we would need to submit for like an RFP to do the work, or if this is something that like we could go through other procurement for. It's a little bit out of my depth, so I'm not sure how we would go through that.
We could we actually use that money to like put paving around the monument type thing and benches and stuff?
I believe that's in the spirit of the project that we stated we were funding. It's like it would provide some sort of access or like additional access to this project, right? So that it provides a little bit extra like if we needed to kind of create some stable ground around it, or if we needed to provide like a walkway around it, or some
Because
sort
the
of
ADA would cover that, because we could say we were used for wheelchairs.
something like that, right? And I think that was the concept behind it.
Yep.
In terms of like actioning on that, I'm not entirely sure how we would go about procuring the work.
So is it the location been, has your final location been determined? Or is that
No,
still?
we would have to do that first, and then we would have to see if we even needed to organize this project, or if we would just decide that this was kind of unnecessary and release the funds.
So did you both have a sweet spot where you thought this would really fit?
Town common.
We only had suggestions. I think it was the common, and then I liked your suggestion for the park in front of the municipal offices.
The park in front of the municipal offices has a lot of accessibility. There is a brick walkway already there. There's benches there as they are now, and a huge flagpole in the middle. So it is easily accessible. I mean, I think probably could stand some probably leveling if you might. I'm not sure. They would have to approve the plans for the town common trustees.
Okay.
And any procurement could go through our town administrator's office through our own people, I think.
Okay.
They would need to be done. We could submit that to town TA.
Yeah.
Involvement.
And
I
the
also
new
wonder
TA starts soon.
I wonder if our local project funds could be repurposed in this way. I would probably have to ask our MCC contact to see if we found that like really like the original concept of like building accessibility for this would be kind of unnecessary based on the location that we selected. I wonder if perhaps we could use it to showcase the project in some way. I would have to see what our MCC contact says about what's allowed. But I think we could repurpose this fund.
Do you want? I mean, would it be helpful if I sent you the town common trustees contact information? Do you have that?
Yeah, let's do that. But I guess in terms of like, I guess if we want to select do we want to do some discovery work on that, or do we want to vote on a location now? Because what I can do is I can reach out to Amy and I can reach out to David, like both separately, and just propose like, hey, we've got a project that we funded. They're willing to deliver it, but we need a location. Like, what do we think about the common, or what do we think about the municipal offices?
When do we need a decision by?
Probably sooner rather than like we would need a decision. I would say to give them lead time. I don't know how long this takes to construct, but I would want to give them a month to construct and deliver.
Also, if there's digging
before
involved, you have to worry about piping and electric, like wires and everything like that, and digging.
This sounds like a question for the actual grantee, which I can put us all on a thread together.
Okay, because if you do that, then you have to get permits and everything, and that'll delay time, and that'll start costing more money.
I suspect that it is not that complicated, and is probably like either wood or like 3D fab like like sculpture. So I do not know if there's any dependencies on town infrastructures. I doubt it. I think it would probably be very hard to do this project for so many municipalities if we had to rely on permitting. So, but that is something that we should do some due diligence on. So here's what what I can do is I can do some discovery work for us on this project. I will talk to David. That's the right contact, right, Jen?
Dave Wyatt. Yep.
Yep, Dave Wyatt. So I'll talk to Dave Wyatt. I'll talk to Amy, and I will reach back out to the grantee and ask them some questions. See how long they think it will take to deliver. That way, we can at least figure out when we need to have a final decision by. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, that's all I wanted to discuss. Do you guys want me to read back like all the action items that we have? Just so we know what we're up against. Or I think I wrote them down inside of the agenda, so you can just refer back to that.
Okay.
When do we want to meet again? Is there a proposed date to follow back up, or do you want to meet after Danielle gets sworn in and signed in?
Do you you know what? is there a motion to set another date? Like, I'm happy to meet again anytime.
Dropping off his daughter at
I would say maybe, yeah, I mean, if we want to, I guess it really depends on the budget that we have. We'll need to meet before the grant round closes so we know how much we can approve. So maybe let's meet after Danielle is sworn in.
All right, start yelling a month.
We can do anything else like offline if we need to. I don't think unless there's something we need to vote on and we can call like a quick emergency meeting.
Okay. I will share with you that we're setting our ice cream socials. Does anyone have kids in Stallbrook?
Yep.
So there's gonna be
Me too.
celebrate their new playground, which is really super exciting.
I know. My kid can't wait.
It's such a great project. She did such a great job. I'm so excited to see that come to town and for those kiddos to have it. So that's coming up. If you guys plan on being there, we'll be there scooping ice cream.
Yeah.
And
what day is the social?
Friday the 12th, September 12th, 5:30 to 7:30, I believe.
All right, I will be there.
Nice. Is it small toddler allowed?
Sure. There's kids everywhere.
Cool.
It's awesome, Kev.
And that playground is going to be.
Oh yeah, it's all the older siblings usually get dragged along, and there's younger siblings, and
The older siblings hate it. They sit there with their arms crossed.
Yep.
That's funny.
Excited, as well as the Bellingham police and fire usually show up, so it's a really kind of a cool thing for the kiddos.
Yeah, they usually get stickers or something like that.
Yep, really cool. So that's on the 12th. But that playground's going to be spectacular up there. She did such a great job. And then what else is coming up in town? So much coming up. No, you guys know. You guys have kids, so it'll be busier than a one-arm paper hanger. So.
Cool. All right, nice. Yeah. So all right. So it sounds like we'll do a little bit of marketing for the cultural council in the next 2.5 weeks. Grant round will open. We'll probably be in a very good spot. Danielle, we're looking forward to you getting sworn in. And yeah, I think we're in a very good spot actually. I'm very glad that everyone's so engaged. So again,
Yeah, we're doing
really appreciate everybody here. If you have any questions, what I'll do is I'll put together our financials so that we can go over them and approve everything next time. And then we'll just be ready for the grant round. And yeah, I may see you guys on the 12th then.
And we'll see Danielle on the 8th when we approve your submission.
That's right.
An appointment.
That's right.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right.
I put it on my calendar. She said I didn't need to come in person, maybe because I'd already been interviewed, but I told her I would hold the date and I'll be there. So
either way, once I get I can send it to you also if you guys want to join in as show of support.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Do we have a motion to end the meeting?
So move, Jen.
Yes, I'm done. I'm good.
All right, cool. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. Meeting is adjourned at 7:32. Appreciate